My child, listen carefully. Something pulled you here tonight, and it was not random. The ache inside your chest has been heard by heaven. God saw the silent tears you hid from everyone else. He saw the nights you stared at your glowing phone screen, hoping their name would suddenly appear again. My beloved child, listen carefully now, because a hidden attack has been moving quietly around your soulmate connection, and heaven refuses to stay silent anymore. The enemy wanted you exhausted, confused, emotionally numb, but God interrupted your path tonight because your love story is still alive in the spiritual realm. This message carries protection over the one your heart still holds. If this message already feels connected to your spirit, comment, God is protecting our connection, like this video, and subscribe as an act of faith that heaven is still moving for your soulmate journey. My beloved soul, if you feel even a small pull in your heart right now, to support this message, do not ignore it. Not every moment carries a divine feeling like this. Sometimes God speaks very softly, placing a gentle signal inside your heart, and those who recognize it are the ones who step into greater blessings. You can support this message through the QR code or the first link in the description or the pinned comment. Give whatever feels right to you. But remember, sometimes the smallest step you take today returns as a greater blessing tomorrow. Do not overlook what your heart is feeling right now. My child, the separation you have been carrying was never meaningless. Heaven has been watching every painful moment unfold. There were nights when your soulmate sat alone in silence, unable to explain the heaviness crushing their spirit. They replayed old memories secretly. They reread conversations they promised themselves they would forget. Their hands trembled over unsent messages, while rain pressed softly against dark windows. And still, they could not fully walk away from you, because God tied this connection together long before either of you understood what it truly was. The enemy saw the spiritual power attached to this bond. That is why hidden attacks began surrounding both of you. Misunderstandings increased suddenly. Fear entered quietly. Third parties carried jealous energy around the connection. Delays appeared without explanation. Emotional confusion replaced peace. But my beloved child, none of those attacks destroyed what heaven already blessed. God is saying this clearly tonight. Your soulmate still feels your presence deeply, even in separation, even in silence, even during distance. There are moments when they suddenly stop what they're doing because your energy crosses their heart without warning. They feel you during restless nights. They hear songs that remind them of your voice. They dream about places connected to your memories together. Then they wake up emotionally shaken, try to convince themselves they no longer care. But heaven keeps exposing the truth inside them. This connection survived because it carries divine fingerprints. And right now, hidden spiritual warfare is being exposed. Someone around your soulmate did not want this union restored. Someone secretly fed fear into their mind. Someone celebrated your distance quietly. But God has already begun removing hidden interference from the path ahead. The confusion is breaking slowly. The emotional fog is lifting. The manipulation is losing power. And your soulmate has started noticing things they ignored before. Stay with this message carefully, because heaven is revealing something sacred now. My child, there were moments you blamed yourself completely for the separation. You questioned your worth silently. You wondered why somebody who felt heaven sent could suddenly become distant. But God allowed this season because both souls needed spiritual healing before reunion could survive permanently. Your soulmate carried wounds they never confessed openly. Deep fears, old betrayals, emotional scars hidden behind silence. They loved you while still battling darkness privately. And sometimes love alone cannot heal unresolved pain. Immediately, God had to separate both of you temporarily, So healing could begin behind the scenes. That silence hurt deeply. I know. Heaven saw you cry in rooms where nobody else heard your prayers. Heaven watched you ask why the connection felt unfinished. Yet every tear carried purpose. Every lonely night pushed you closer toward spiritual transformation. You began praying differently, seeing differently, feeling differently. And while you thought nothing was changing, heaven was rebuilding your strength quietly. Your soulmate was changing too. The distance forced them to confront emotions they avoided for years. They could no longer run from the emptiness your absence created. That is why their nights became heavier recently. That is why old memories returned unexpectedly. That is why your name suddenly entered conversations again. God is stirring hidden emotions inside them because divine timing is approaching another shift. Pray instead of fearing. God is preparing what you cannot yet see. My beloved child, there is something your soulmate never admitted openly. During the separation, they secretly searched for pieces of you everywhere. In strangers, in songs, in random moments. But nobody carried your spirit. Nobody felt like home. And this realization frightened them deeply because they finally understood your connection was never ordinary attraction. It was spiritual recognition. Soul remembering soul. Heaven revealing destiny slowly. That truth became impossible for them to escape. The enemy wanted this realization delayed because your union carries healing power far beyond romance. Your connection threatens darkness simply because it reflects God's restoration. That is why attacks intensified around family recently. Sudden tension, emotional heaviness, strange misunderstandings, anxiety without clear explanation. These were not random events entirely. Spiritual pressure increased because breakthrough is closer than you realize. But God is covering your home tonight. He is surrounding your soulmate with divine protection. He is exposing hidden motives quietly. He is blocking doors that would have destroyed your future together permanently. And the enemy knows time is running out. Do not scroll away now. What heaven reveals next explains a strange emotional pull you have felt recently. My child, have you noticed how their energy suddenly returned stronger lately? Certain nights feel overwhelming. Memories arrive without warning. Your spirit becomes restless after midnight. Sometimes you feel emotional for no visible reason. That is happening because your soulmate has been thinking about you intensely again. Their soul has been reaching toward yours during quiet moments. One evening recently, they stared at your old picture longer than usual. Their chest tightened unexpectedly. They whispered words they never said aloud. Regret has entered their heart heavily now. They are beginning to understand how much pain the silence caused you. And God is allowing this realization carefully, not to punish them, but to awaken truth inside them completely. Heaven is softening pride, softening fear, softening resistance, because the hidden attack against this connection depended on emotional distance surviving permanently. But your soulmate can no longer silence what their spirit keeps feeling. They tried distracting themselves. They tried pretending indifference. They tried burying memories beneath daily routines. Yet every road keeps leading emotionally back toward you. This is not coincidence. This is divine movement unfolding slowly beneath the surface. And while they appear calm outwardly, their private nights tell another story entirely. The glowing phone screen, the unfinished messages, the tears nobody sees, the prayers whispered into darkness. Your soulmate has been fighting emotional battles secretly. God knows this. Heaven knows this. And now divine protection is surrounding both of you stronger than before. My child, listen carefully to this next part because it carries protection for your future. Some attacks against soulmate connections do not begin through hatred. They begin through exhaustion, through hopelessness, through delays that slowly convince two people to surrender prematurely. The enemy wanted you to believe the silence meant abandonment, But heaven says the silence carried preparation. God was working where human eyes could not see. Trust what heaven already promised. The bond still lives. The connection still breathes spiritually. And what God joins cannot be destroyed by temporary darkness. My beloved child, do not ignore this sacred moment. Something is shifting around your soulmate connection right now. Heaven brought you here because your response matters spiritually. Many people will scroll away and miss the protection prepared for them. But those who trust God move in faith quickly. So your seed tonight, even $10 or $20 offered in faith, becomes an act of spiritual agreement with heaven's protection over your relationship and family. The QR code is on your screen, and the link is in the description and first pinned comment. Do not delay this moment carelessly. Your obedience today may block attacks you cannot yet see forming tomorrow. God honors faith that moves without fear. My child, your soulmate has also been sensing danger around this connection recently. They may not fully understand it yet, but spiritually they feel something pulling them back toward you urgently. Dreams have become stronger. Emotional heaviness increases whenever they try forgetting you completely. Certain places suddenly remind them of moments shared with you. Even their sleep has been disturbed lately. Heaven keeps knocking gently against their heart. And one specific truth terrifies them now. They fear you may finally give up on them completely. That fear has awakened hidden urgency inside their spirit. Because deep down, they know your love was genuine. They know your prayers cover them during seasons they never deserved kindness. And slowly, guilt is turning into awakening. Something inside them is changing permanently now. My beloved soul, listen carefully. Not everyone receives moments like this, where they can become a channel of God's work for someone else. If you feel a desire in your heart to give right now, this is not coincidence. This is a signal. And ignoring a signal can sometimes delay the blessing meant for you. You can support this message through the QR code or the first link in the description or the pinned comment. Even a small act can change someone's entire night. And those who become light for others are never left in darkness by God. My child, your soulmate has been carrying silent regret heavier than you realize. There are moments when they sit awake long after midnight, staring into darkness while the entire world sleeps around them. Their thoughts keep returning to you without permission. They hear your laughter inside old memories. They remember the comfort your presence brought into their restless spirit. And suddenly, the silence they once defended now feels unbearable. Heaven is opening a hidden emotional file tonight because the truth can no longer stay buried. Your soulmate misses you deeply, far more deeply than pride allowed them to admit before. But something darker tried interfering with this connection from the beginning. Certain people felt threatened by the peace your love created. Some carried jealousy quietly behind smiles. Others planted confusion through subtle words and hidden manipulation. The enemy used emotional pressure carefully, hoping exhaustion would separate what heaven intended to restore. Yet God never removed his hand from this bond, even during silence, even during heartbreak, even during distance. My beloved child, the attacks intensified recently because spiritual breakthrough is approaching faster now. The enemy attacks hardest when divine restoration comes near. That heaviness you suddenly felt, that emotional pressure inside your chest, that strange anxiety appearing without reason, those moments carried spiritual tension around your connection. But heaven is exposing hidden darkness step by step. God is removing false people quietly. Conversations are shifting. Secrets are surfacing slowly. And your soulmate is beginning to see who truly carried negative energy against this union. They are noticing patterns now. They are remembering warnings they once ignored. They are finally understanding why peace disappeared whenever certain influences surrounded them. Stay here carefully, because the next truth heaven reveals changes everything about this separation. My child, there was one specific night recently when your soulmate almost reached out to you. Their fingers hovered above your name for several minutes. Their breathing became heavy. Their heart raced uncontrollably. They even imagined hearing your voice again. But fear stopped them at the last second. Fear of rejection. Fear you had already moved on emotionally. Fear that too much damage had already happened between both souls. And after they put the phone down, they sat in silence, carrying unbearable emotional weight. They whispered your name softly into darkness, while tears filled their eyes unexpectedly. This is the hidden pain heaven wants you to understand tonight. Your soulmate has not forgotten you. They have been fighting their own emotional prison quietly. The separation forced them to confront truths they avoided before. It forced them to see how deeply connected they truly are to you spiritually. God allowed distance because false versions of both souls needed breaking first. The old wounds, the emotional walls, the fear of vulnerability, the need for control. Heaven has been stripping those layers away slowly, painfully, but purposefully, because divine reunion cannot survive if pride remains stronger than love. Pray instead of fearing. God is already moving ahead of you, my beloved child. Heaven is also protecting your family right now. The hidden attack was never only against romance. It was against peace inside your home, against emotional stability around your future, against the calling attached to your connection together. Because this union carries generational healing. There are family patterns meant to end through both of you. Cycles of abandonment, cycles of fear, cycles of emotional coldness. And darkness wanted those cycles repeated again. But God is interrupting that pattern now. Your soulmate may not fully understand this yet, but their spirit has already begun awakening toward healing. That is why old emotional defenses are collapsing recently. That is why guilt keeps visiting them unexpectedly. That is why your memory suddenly feels impossible for them to escape. Heaven keeps bringing your soul before them repeatedly, in dreams, in songs, in random moments of silence. They even notice signs connected to you throughout ordinary days now, and each sign shakes their spirit quietly, because deep down, they know this connection never truly ended. It only paused for healing. My child, do not let temporary silence convince you the story is over. God is still writing chapters you cannot yet see clearly. The delay carried preparation. The distance carried purification. And now heaven is preparing movement again. Your soulmate is beginning to feel urgency rising inside them. The same person who once avoided emotional honesty now feels haunted by everything left unsaid. They replay moments where they hurt you unintentionally. They remember your patience, your kindness, your prayers over them. And suddenly they realize how rare your love truly was. This realization has become emotionally overwhelming for them lately. Some nights they cannot even explain the heaviness pressing against their spirit. They walk through crowded places feeling empty. They smile around others while secretly feeling disconnected inside, because part of their soul still reaches toward you constantly. My beloved child, there is another truth heaven needs you to hear carefully tonight. Someone secretly expected this connection to fail permanently. Someone watched the separation, believing reconciliation would never happen. But God is frustrating hidden expectations right now. Those who celebrated your heartbreak quietly will soon witness divine restoration they never predicted, because what heaven seals cannot be permanently destroyed by human interference. The enemy underestimated the spiritual depth of this bond. Your soulmate tried running emotionally. You tried letting go, mentally. Yet somehow the connection survived every storm. That survival itself is a miracle. Heaven protected this love even when both hearts felt exhausted. Do not scroll away now. The next part reveals why your soulmate suddenly feels spiritually pulled back toward you stronger than ever before. My child, your soulmate recently entered a season of emotional awakening. Small things trigger memories unexpectedly now. Certain smells remind them of moments spent beside you. Old songs suddenly feel painfully personal. Even ordinary nights feel heavier because your absence echoes loudly inside their spirit. They have started comparing everyone else to you without meaning to, and nobody matches the peace they once felt near your soul. This realization has created spiritual restlessness inside them. They keep asking themselves why they cannot fully move on, why your energies still surround them after all this time. Why thought of you returns strongest during vulnerable moments? The answer is simple, my beloved child. Because heaven never disconnected your souls completely. The spiritual cord remains alive, protected, active, guided by divine timing. Your soulmate feels it every time silence becomes too loud around them. And now God is increasing that awareness intentionally. Trust what heaven already promised. The connection is still breathing beneath the surface. If you still feel your soulmate spirit beside yours tonight, comment 777 below as a sign that your faith remains stronger than fear. My child, while your soulmate struggles privately with regret and longing, heaven has also been protecting you from unseen danger. There were moments when God blocked communication because timing was not spiritually safe yet. There were conversations that would have created deeper wounds if they happened too early. There were hidden influences surrounding your soulmate that needed exposure first. Heaven refused to allow permanent decisions during temporary confusion. That protection may have felt painful at the time, but now the spiritual atmosphere around the connection is shifting slowly. Darkness is losing legal ground. Lies are collapsing. Hidden manipulation is weakening, and your soulmate's heart is becoming softer toward truth each day. Recently, they even sense God speaking through their own silence. They realize the emptiness never disappeared after losing you. They realize distractions could not replace genuine spiritual connection. And now fear of losing you forever has begun overpowering fear of vulnerability. This changes everything. Because once the heart awakens fully, divine movement accelerates quickly afterward. My beloved child, heaven did not bring you here accidentally tonight. This message carries divine timing attached to it. Something powerful is unfolding behind scenes you still cannot fully see. Your soulmate may appear distant outwardly, but inwardly they are unraveling emotionally. The walls are cracking. The denial is weakening. The hidden love is rising stronger, and God is preparing both souls carefully for the next phase of this journey. But listen closely now. Faith requires action during sacred moments like this. Do not ignore what your spirit feels right now. Sow your seed in faith tonight. Even $10 or $20 can become a prophetic act of agreement with heaven's protection over your soulmate connection and family. The QR code is on your screen. The link is in the description and first pinned comment. Something is shifting spiritually around your life right now, and obedience matters more than you realize. Many people hesitate and miss the blessing attached to divine timing. But those who trust God act before fear speaks louder than faith. My child, your soulmate has also been praying secretly lately. Maybe not perfectly. Maybe not with elegant words, but heaven heard every whispered cry inside their exhausted spirit. They asked God for clarity, for peace, for understanding, and slowly, God has been answering through signs impossible for them to ignore. They see reminders connected to you repeatedly. They feel emotional waves unexpectedly during quiet moments. Sometimes they even wake up suddenly after dreaming about reconciliation with you. Then they sit silently in darkness, wondering if God is trying to lead them back toward the love they once feared completely. And the answer is yes. Heaven is guiding restoration carefully now, not rushed, not forced, but deeply intentional. because this love story carries divine purpose beyond temporary emotions. Your soulmate is changing. You are changing. And the connection itself is becoming spiritually stronger through every battle survived. The attacks failed to destroy what God protected from the beginning. My beloved soul, understand this deeply. When a moment to give from the heart comes, and we ignore it, it is not just an opportunity that passes. Sometimes the blessing attached to it passes too. If God has placed even a small feeling inside you right now, do not ignore it. You can support this message through the QR code or the first link in the description or the pinned comment. Give whatever you feel, because it is not about the amount, it is about the faith behind it. And when you step forward to support God's work, He multiplies it back into your life in ways you cannot explain. This is not loss, this is divine exchange. You give with faith, and God returns it with abundance. My child, your soulmate has entered a spiritual crossroads now. The hidden attack that once kept them emotionally trapped is losing power faster than before. Heaven has been confronting them during quiet moments when nobody else is around. In crowded rooms, they suddenly feel empty. During late nights, they feel your absence stronger than ever. And sometimes, without warning, tears rise into their eyes because memories connected to your return with overwhelming force. This is not coincidence. This is divine awakening unfolding carefully. God is opening their hearts slowly because the time of emotional numbness is ending. The silence that once protected their fear has now become painful for them to carry. They cannot keep pretending this connection meant nothing. Their soul refuses to cooperate with the lie anymore. My beloved child, there was a moment recently when your soulmate almost broke down completely. The room around them was dark and quiet. Rain tapped softly against the window while their glowing phone screen illuminated old conversations between both of you. They scrolled through memories they promised themselves never to revisit again. And suddenly, the truth hit their spirit heavily. Nobody has loved them the way you did. Nobody prayed over their wounds the way you did. Nobody saw through their brokenness while still choosing to stay beside them emotionally. That realization shook them deeply, because they now understand what they almost lost permanently. Heaven allowed this awakening, because your soulmate needed to see the connection clearly without distraction clouding their vision anymore. The enemy worked hard to blind them through confusion, pride, and emotional pressure. But God is stronger than every hidden attack sent against this love story. And now the truth is rising where deception once lived. Stay here carefully, because what God reveals next explains why your spirit suddenly feels different lately. My child, you've been sensing a shift because heaven already started moving spiritually before physical movement appears. Your heart has felt strangely restless some nights. Certain memories return without warning. Random emotional waves hit your spirit unexpectedly. Sometimes you even feel your soulmate thinking about you in real time. That happens because the spiritual connection between both souls is becoming more active again. God never removed the cord completely. He protected it quietly during separation. And now that healing has progressed deeper, the connection is awakening stronger than before. Your soulmate has also begun hearing your voice inside their thoughts again. Small phrases you once said suddenly return during vulnerable moments. Advice you gave them suddenly makes sense now. The comfort your energy carried suddenly feels irreplaceable. And this realization has created spiritual urgency inside them. They are beginning to fear missing their divine person permanently. That fear is pushing them toward emotional honesty slowly. The same person who once hid behind silence now feels emotionally exposed before heaven. They cannot escape what their soul keeps confessing privately. My beloved child, there were hidden spiritual battles surrounding your family too. Some attacks came through fear, others through emotional exhaustion, others through division meant to weaken your peace slowly. But tonight God is placing divine covering over your home. over your heart, over your soulmate, and over the future attached to this connection. Heaven is blocking what you cannot see. Certain plans against you failed before reaching you completely. Certain betrayals were exposed before causing permanent destruction. Certain doors closed because God refused to let darkness access your destiny fully. Even when you felt abandoned, heaven stood guarding your future quietly. Trust what heaven already promised. Your connection survived because God never stopped protecting it. My child, the next phase of this journey will not look like the last one. The emotional distance is weakening now. Your soulmate's resistance is collapsing gradually. They are becoming emotionally softer, more reflective, more spiritually aware. They are starting to recognize how much God used your love to heal parts of them they never revealed publicly. And once someone realizes who truly carried heaven's peace into their life, forgetting becomes impossible. That is why your soulmate keeps returning emotionally toward you no matter how far they tried running. Your spirit became familiar to theirs. Your energy became home. And home cannot be erased by temporary separation. Heaven did not bring you this far only to abandon the story halfway through. No, my beloved child, God is still writing this connection carefully. Do not scroll away now. The next revelation carries confirmation your soul has been waiting to hear. My child, your soulmate has secretly been watching from a distance more than you realize. Sometimes through social media, sometimes through mutual connections, sometimes simply through memories replaying endlessly in their mind. They wanted to know if your light still carried warmth toward them. They wanted reassurance that the door of love had not closed forever. Yet guilt kept them frozen silently. They feared facing the pain their absence created inside your heart. But heaven is breaking that fear slowly now. Because true restoration cannot happen while silence controls both souls completely. God is preparing communication again, carefully, gently, at the right moment. And when it happens, it will carry emotional honesty neither of you expected before. Your soulmate has changed through the separation. The pain humbled them. The loneliness awakened them. The distance forced them to confront truths they once avoided. And now they are beginning to understand why every attempt to move forward without you felt spiritually empty. Because your connection was never ordinary affection. It carried divine assignment attached to it. Your love reflected safety, healing, peace, and God-centered purpose. The enemy attacked this connection because it threatened cycles of darkness meant to continue through generations. But heaven already decided restoration would rise from the ashes of this pain. Pray instead of fearing. God is already arranging what your eyes cannot yet fully see. My beloved child, there is something your soulmate has not confessed aloud to anyone during their hardest nights recently. They ask God if you still think about them too. They wonder whether your heart still carries love beneath the exhaustion. They feared you may finally stop waiting spiritually. And every time that fear enters their spirit, emotional panic follows closely behind it. Because deep down, they know losing you completely would feel like losing a piece of their own soul. Heaven is allowing them to feel this urgency because awakening requires emotional truth. No more running, no more hiding, no more pretending indifference. The spiritual file about this connection is opening fully now. And once heaven exposes truth, darkness loses power quickly. Your soulmate is beginning to recognize the hidden attacks that manipulated their emotions before. They see how fear distorted their decisions. They see how outside influences created confusion. They see how pride delayed healing unnecessarily. And now regret has transformed into desire for restoration. Stay with this message carefully. Something sacred is being revealed tonight. My child, there are already signs that breakthrough has started quietly. Your energy feels lighter some mornings now. Certain fears no longer control you the same way. Your prayers feel more peaceful recently. That is because heaven has begun removing emotional heaviness from your spirit gradually. God knew you could not continue carrying constant heartbreak forever. So he started healing you while simultaneously awakening your soulmate. This is divine alignment unfolding step by step. And although everything may still appear incomplete outwardly, major spiritual movement has already begun behind closed doors. Your soulmate may soon reach a point where silence becomes impossible to maintain anymore. The pressure inside their heart keeps increasing. The longing keeps growing. The memories keep returning stronger. And God keeps reminding them what genuine love truly felt like beside you. My beloved child, if this message has touched your spirit deeply tonight, send this video to the one your soul still calls quietly. Sometimes heaven uses one message to awaken two hearts at the same time. Do not ignore what your spirit feels right now. This connection carries divine fingerprints all over it, and heaven is not finished writing your story together. My child, another sacred window is opening before you right now. Do not pass by this moment carelessly. God is watching who responds with faith during seasons of spiritual movement. So your seed tonight is an act of agreement with heaven's protection over your soulmate, your family, and your future. Even $10 or $20 given in faith can become a prophetic step toward breakthrough and covering over your home. The QR code is on your screen. The link is in the description and first pinned comment. Something powerful is shifting around your connection now. And obedience during spiritual moments releases blessings that fear can never access. Do not delay what God placed on your heart to do tonight. My beloved child, the separation was never proof love died. It was proof healing was necessary before reunion could survive correctly. God needed both souls transformed first. Your soulmate needed awakening. You needed strengthening. And now heaven is bringing both journeys back toward each other slowly. The attacks failed. The jealousy failed. The manipulation failed. The silence failed. Because what God protects cannot be destroyed by temporary darkness. Your soulmate still feels you deeply. They still carry your presence privately. They still replay your memories during silent nights. And now heaven is preparing restoration with greater wisdom than before. The breakthrough already started, even if you cannot fully see every detail yet. Your love story is not over. God is still writing this connection. You are still connected spiritually. Heaven already moved first. And what was delayed will return with deeper understanding, stronger protection, and greater peace than before. Type amen if you believe God is protecting your soulmate connection tonight.